Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care. Ethan had never imagined that his life would change in such an extraordinary way. On an unremarkable Tuesday morning, a routine government study led to his selection for a peculiar interspecies program. Now, standing at the heart of the Galactic Women's Tribunal, he felt like a fish out of water. The chamber was vast and imposing, adorned with symbols of authority and gravity, an architectural marvel that reflected the power of the alien species that governed the galaxy. As he stepped forward, the gaze of the tribunal members bore down on him, a constellation of scrutinizing eyes filled with expectation. They were a diverse gathering of women from the towering Thrinians, with their shimmering blue skin and elongated limbs, to the delicate Ventrians, whose iridescent wings fluttered gracefully beside them. At the center of it all stood Lunara, the tribunal's leader, beautiful and intimidating, framed by a celestial glow that lent her an otherworldly quality. She raised her hand, silencing the murmurs that echoed throughout the ornate chamber. "Ethan of Earth," Lunara began, her voice a melodic yet authoritative tone that carried weight and influence. "You have been summoned here to fulfill a critical role in ensuring the continuity of our civilizations and the strengthening of interspecies ties." Confused and bewildered, Ethan felt his heart race. What did they want from him? His mind raced through countless possibilities, but nothing could prepare him for the proclamation that followed. "You are ordered to reproduce with the daughters of the esteemed members of this tribunal," she declared. The words cascaded through the audience like a shockwave. Gasps and whispers erupted as he stood there, frozen, a chill of disbelief racing down his spine. Ethan glanced at the daughters seated to one side, noting the varied mixtures of shock, curiosity, and even excitement on their faces. Each one was strikingly beautiful, yet the circumstances felt unimaginable. How could he be thrust into something so profound and important on a whim? As he returned his gaze to Lunara, he caught her watching him intently, as if measuring his reaction. The implications of this situation weighed heavily on him. Treating the daughters as mere vessels felt wrong. Yet he could feel an inexplicable surge of new emotion brewing within him. After the announcement, he was escorted away from the tumult of the courtroom, left to ponder his next steps. Secrets of alien societies and cultures filled his mind, but would he become a willing player in this interstellar plot? Would he dare to challenge the boundaries placed upon him, torn between duty and personal desire? His thoughts spiraled, unwilling to detach from the gravity of the challenge ahead. The corridor leading from the tribunal's chamber was lined with portraits of powerful women from different civilizations, each telling a story of strength and legacy. Despite the gravity of his situation, Ethan couldn't help but admire the beauty of the art as he walked alongside Akira, a stern yet approachable member of the tribunal, whose many years in power gave her an air of wisdom and poise. "Your presence here is significant," she said, breaking the silence. "You are seen as a bridge between our people." Ethan nodded, trying to absorb the weight of her words. In his mind, he couldn't shake the notion that he was merely an object, a pawn moved by powerful hands, forced into a role he never asked for. When they reached a grand hall filled with light pouring in through complex stained glass, Ethan was introduced to the daughters, the core of the tribunal's charge. The daughters stood shoulder to shoulder, each unique yet connected by a shared purpose. There was Zalara, with fiery red hair that flowed like flames, and emerald skin that shone vibrantly. Her gaze was piercing, revealing her unapologetic, outspoken nature. Next to her stood Lorraine, petite and thoughtful, with deep violet eyes reflecting a quiet intelligence that hinted at a vast depth of perception. Finally, there was Jasara, tall, athletic, with dark skin and flowing silver hair, who exuded an effortless charm that could light up an entire room. "Welcome, Ethan," Zalara said, crossing her arms defiantly, her voice carrying an intensity that was hard to ignore. "We want to make one thing clear. This isn't merely a result of some bureaucratic decision. We are fully capable of making our own choices. You should know that." "Exactly," added Lorraine, her voice soft but firm, brimming with vulnerability. "This is our lives they're discussing. We deserve respect, not just as daughters, but as individuals in our own right. Jasara stepped forward, a playful smile dancing on her lips as she tilted her head. Well, I, for one, see this as an opportunity to explore different worlds, and perhaps even hearts. I hope you're ready for that, Ethan. Ethan caught his breath, feeling a rush of warmth at her words. Despite the situation, there was an undeniable chemistry blossoming among them. Each response ignited feelings inside him that he hadn't anticipated. He found the daughters to be strong, compelling women, each with compelling stories to share. As they delved deeper into conversations about their respective cultures, it quickly became evident that each daughter held her own perspectives about Ethan and the Tribunal's decree. Zalara was filled with righteous anger, believing they were being treated as mere bargaining chips in a galactic game. Lorraine worried about the implications of losing control over their own destinies, while Jasara, though intrigued, remained torn between excitement and trepidation. Throughout their discussions, Ethan learned of their traditions, including elaborate ceremonies celebrating love and companionship, where bonds were forged through choice rather than decree, strikingly different from the very order he was subjected to. The daughters each shared stories of their upbringing, outlining their values and ambitions, illuminating the depth of their lives and the worlds they came from, all while sparking a light of unity amongst them. The conversations shifted from tense discussions about their fates to flirty exchanges laden with possibility. "What if we turn this into a friendly competition?" Jasara suggested playfully, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "You can engage with each of us, learn our ways. At the end, you'll choose who to focus on. Think of it as an adventure. Or we can all join forces and make the best of this ridiculous situation," Zalara interjected, rolling her eyes but unable to hide a hint of a smile that softened her fierce demeanor. "And who knows," Lorraine added, a slight grin forming on her face. "We might forge a bond that transcends this political game, a friendship that could turn into something special." Ethan felt a rush of relief at their willingness to explore the unknown. The burden upon him lightened, transformed from an unbearable weight into an exhilarating opportunity to understand these remarkable women on a deeper level. They spent the evening sharing laughter, joy, and fleeting moments of intimacy that lingered in the charged air. As the night drew to a close, a sense of camaraderie surrounded them. It felt as though a pact had been formed, or maybe a series of threads, weaving their fates together in ways they couldn't fully understand. Ethan promised to see their different worlds through their eyes with renewed eagerness, hoping to unveil direction and clarity in this strange new path they were embarking on together. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan navigated the intricate lives of the alien daughters, learning about their individual cultures while establishing connections that were layered with complexity and allure. One evening, they gathered at Jasara's home, a vibrant space adorned with colorful textiles and intricate designs that reflected the beauty of her world and the rich tapestry of their heritage. An extravagant dinner awaited him, a feast representing each daughter's origin. Zalara had prepared a spicy dish from her planet, bursting with flavors that heated his senses. Lorraine contributed a delicately flavored dessert, while Jasara showcased a traditional meal that spoke of generations past, each dish telling a story, transgressing the physical to embody the essence of their cultures. As they dined, conversations flowed freely, morphing from playful teasing to earnest sharing of their deeper beliefs. They took turns sharing stories about their respective customs surrounding love and companionship, which only increased Ethan's interest and curiosity. The warmth of their voices enveloped him, and as he listened intently, he could feel the burgeoning connection resonate within. "On my planet, couples must complete a series of whimsical challenges to prove their compatibility," Zalara shared, her eyes glinting with mischief and enthusiasm. "It's entertaining for everyone involved, and it leads to plenty of laughter." "Such as?" Ethan inquired, intrigued by the idea of gamifying romance, a practice so foreign to him yet refreshing. "Dancing contests, cooking battles, and even charm trials," Lorraine chimed in, her excitement palpable. "We must win each other's hearts through worthy acts and playful rivalry. It's like an art form, really." Ethan couldn't help but laugh, picturing himself stumbling through those challenges. "Are there any challenges that don't involve competing?" he teased, shaking his head playfully. Jasara leaned in closer to Ethan. "Oh, we can absolutely think of some. How about a simpler evening where we simply enjoy each other's company without the games?" she suggested, her voice low and inviting. As the night progressed, they continued to share laughter and flirtation, but Ethan's attraction to Jasara deepened. She had this magnetic energy that drew him closer, igniting a spark he didn't know he craved. Her laughter was a melody, her smile as warm as sunlight flowing through an open field. However, the warmth of the evening took a sharp turn when the daughters began discussing the reality of their situation again, the thrill juxtaposed with the heavy weight of their predicament. Each daughter's expression shifted from joy to concern as they circled back to their futures. "What if we're nothing more than pawns in their game?" Zalara mused, anger simmering beneath her humor. "We deserve to make our own choices about our lives and futures." Lorraine, often the diplomat among them, softened the moment with a thoughtful gaze. "But what if this does lead to something positive? Increased connections between our civilizations could be beneficial as we adapt together," she presented, her voice steady amid growing tension. Jasara looked at Ethan, her gaze searching. "What does this mean for us, Ethan? Would you see us as more than just a consequence of some political decree?" Ethan took a moment to gather his thoughts, the weight of their expectations heavy upon him. "It's difficult. I want to honor your wishes, but I also feel that our lives should not just intersect based on some directive. Genuine connections mean everything." "But can we build something real?" Jasara asked, her eyes unwavering as they locked onto his, a glimmer of hope mingling with doubt swirling within her expressions. "I believe so," Ethan confessed, eagerness finding its way to the surface of his voice. "If we allow this journey to flourish beyond mere obligation, if we take these moments, these exchanges to create bonds that matter, it could become something truly authentic." In that shared moment, Ethan felt the power of potential growing between them, a sense of belonging that transcended their imposition. As he looked around the table at the three remarkable women, memories of quiet laughter and fleeting touches began to flash through his mind. The night ended with a quieter atmosphere, yet the undercurrents of possibility left them charged with excitement for the direction that lay ahead. As they rose to leave, Ethan caught Jasara's eye, smiling at her, a silent promise of discovery interwoven with their connected fates. As time flowed forward, Ethan and the daughters found themselves facing both joy and tension amid the increasingly complicated emotional landscape that was their interwoven lives. The tribunal pressed for a decision on who would be Ethan's focus of attention, implying their growing impatience with the affectionate bonds that seemed to form naturally within the group. Ethan spent more time with Jasara, captivating him with her stories of bravery and determination. She had become his anchor through the turmoil, a source of inspiration as they explored shared dreams and aspirations. They ventured into each other's lives, delving deeper into the philosophies that shaped their realities as they uncovered the threads that connected them. One day, Jasara led Ethan to a secluded garden, a breathtaking sanctuary adorned with luminescent plants and tranquil pools of water that seemed to whisper secrets of the universe. The setting created a perfect backdrop for reflection and connection, an enchanting world that felt like a sanctuary free of judgment and observation. "We come here when we need to think, to breathe," Jasara explained, twirling among the flowers, her joy infectious. "It's my favorite place. It reminds me of the beauty in our differences." "I can see why," Ethan said, absorbing the vibrant colors and soft luminescence. As they strolled amongst the flourishing blossoms, he felt an electric connection coursing through his veins, awakening a passion he didn't fully understand. As they reached the heart of the garden, he turned to ask her about her dreams. His heart raced, realizing how much he needed to know and connect with her. But moments later, their intimacy shattered when they heard loud voices approaching. "Ethan!" Zalara called out, marching toward them, her expression fierce and resolute. "We need to talk, and swiftly. This situation cannot linger." The frustration on her face was evident, and Ethan could sense the tension in the air. "What's going on?" he asked, concerned, his instincts telling him that whatever was about to unfold would change everything. "It's the Tribunal," she replied, her voice rising in anger. "They want you to choose one of us to focus on, as if we're mere prizes in a grand game. This is wrong, Ethan. This is not just a choice. We are more than that." Lorraine, who had joined them at that moment, chimed in with a conciliatory tone. "Zalara, we should understand their point. Bringing clarity will help advance our cause. We need stronger alliances, if we can find a way to support each other without friction." Ethan felt torn, uncertain about how to choose between the bonds he had begun to cherish. The burden of their emotions weighed heavily on him, battling the expectations thrust upon him by the Tribunal. In frustrated silence, he watched the daughters debate, interspersed with glances exchanged between him and Jasara, each connection intensifying the turmoil as they confronted their fate. After the heated discussion, they took a breath and sought refuge in a more secluded part of the garden where silence enveloped them, allowing Ethan to gather his thoughts. Jasara took his hand, locking eyes with him, a silent plea reflected in her gaze. "Whatever they demand, you don't have to conform to their expectations. Choose who truly matters to you, not from pressure, but from truth," she whispered, her voice soft yet filled with strength. As Ethan processed her words, serenity washed over him. He felt a clarity emerging within, a truth that surged through him as he contemplated what was at stake. What if I can't decide? What if I want to honor each of you in your own individual ways? Jasara shrugged softly, contemplating. We can create our own path, a solution that honors our autonomy while still pursuing connection. They leaned into each other, and their lips met in a surprising kiss, passionate and chaotic, yet undeniably authentic. Ethan felt a rush of emotions wash over him, swept away for a moment, until a loud commotion pulled them back to reality. It was Zalara, approaching once again, her voice trembling with fervor as she broke the momentary bliss. "This isn't politics, this is our life," she shouted, her energy flipping from frustration to passionate resolve. "We should not have to compete for love. It should be an option, not an obligation." Jasara's hands gripped Ethan's tighter, as a sense of solidarity ignited in their hearts. United, they decided to stand firm in their beliefs, determined to restate their desires to the Tribunal, embodying newfound strength alongside the shared experiences they had come to gather. In a dramatic turn, they returned to the Tribunal chamber the next day, their emotions fortifying their convictions. As they walked in together, the air was thick with anticipation. Every gaze focused on Ethan, the once innocent figure now transformed into a catalyst for change. Lunara began with her customary authority. "Your presence here is a vital one for our civilizations, and we expect an answer to our question. Who will you choose as your partner, as is our tradition?" Ethan felt every heartbeat echoing in the silence of the room. He realized that honor could mean more than mere surrender. It could mean standing firm alongside those who had touched his life in unimaginable ways. "I refuse to choose," he declared, surprising even himself. "You ask me to select one daughter, but I see the merits of each one of them. I believe we can forge paths together. This relationship is not merely transactional. It must be rooted in trust and authenticity." Gasps filled the room as eyes widened in disbelief among the gathered assembly. Zalara smiled knowingly, while Lorraine looked skeptical yet intrigued. Jasara beamed with pride, standing resolutely beside him with confidence. "Love cannot stem from mere obligation. It must blossom from honest connections," Ethan continued. "What exists among us is beyond your decree. It is real. Allow us to choose our paths together without gridlocks or limitations." A silence fell over the Tribunal as the members exchanged glances, processing his words with a rising consideration for this unexpected plea. The discussions that followed set a foundation for a distribution of a true understanding, a change in direction that leaned towards respect, authenticity, and the promise of love that even the most rigid boardrooms acknowledge. The gravity of Ethan's declaration lingered in the air, suspended by uncertainty. The Tribunal debated fiercely, grappling with the implications of his words that resonated through the ornate hall. As he stood at the forefront, His heart raced, part exhilaration, part fear, his mission seemingly at odds with centuries-old traditions that upheld a very different paradigm. Days turned into a whirlwind of discussions, public debates, and lobbying amongst the tribunal members. Ethan's voice intertwined with the daughters' pleas as they collectively prepared to challenge the narrative that threatened to box them into predetermined roles. This alliance became a powerful force, their connections strengthening with every passing moment. In hushed tones within the corridors of the tribunal, they devised a plan designed to encourage more open dialogues about love and relationships. "We can promote further engagement between our worlds," Lorraine suggested, sketching out strategies on loose paper that fluttered in the drafts. "If we showcase positive examples of interspecies partnerships, we can start to transform minds and hearts eventually." "Creative engagement is crucial," Jasara added, looking into Ethan's eyes filled with determination. "Art can express the value of true connection more dynamically than mere words could capture. We can set up festivals that celebrate stories of love, choice, and partnership that showcase our culture." Together, they pieced their shared vision together into an actionable plan, brimming with excitement as they prepared to meet with the tribunal again. On the day they eagerly presented their roadmap, Ethan stood at the forefront, flanked by the daughters who had become his confidants, 3 independently strong women who now shared a collective hope for the future. "What we propose," he began, voice steady, "is a new way to honor love, not as a commodity, but as a force that enriches our existence." The tribunal listened intently, witnessing the convictions that had ignited within this diverse group. "Celebrate your differences," shouted Zalara, waving a colorful banner she had made for the presentation, much to the audience's delight. "Allow one another's stories to guide the future." As their voices harmonized, the tribunal began to see that they had created something far more powerful than a simple program. A harmonious movement built on collaboration and mutual respect that transcended boundaries. Overwhelmed with emotion, each member of the tribunal eventually acknowledged the importance of nurturing authentic connections. "We will not reject our customs," Lunara finally stated, her tone having softened to reflect a newfound openness. "Rather, we will evolve, adapting them to foster growth and understanding instead of constraints." Cheers erupted from the gathering as it became clear they had charted a confident new course together. A newfound alliance among the daughters, the human, and the tribunal blossomed into an understanding, one that encapsulated possibilities that extended far beyond borders, species, and traditional expectations. As the festival approached, Ethan saw the validation of their efforts spring forth, light and vibrant with excitement. They witnessed jubilant performances, each dance and song dissipating cultural borders and affirming the beauty of unity among differences. With every act, they illustrated the essence of love, uncomplicated yet intricate in its desire to connect. "Would you like to join me for a dance?" Jasara asked him, her eyes brightening with a playful glint as she pulled him close. Without hesitation, he accepted, feeling the weight of uncertainty lifting, sweeping them into the euphoria of the moment. Zalara and Lorraine soon joined in, their joy infectious as they danced together, creating an elegant confluence of laughter and spirit that brought forth the essence of what they were striving for. Ethan realized that they had transcended the constraints of their initial arrangement and begun forming a family forged through challenges and triumphs that would change their lives forever. As night deepened, they gathered for a final display of fireworks, illuminating the night sky in brilliant hues. In the midst of the celebration, as radiant colors ignited the heavens, Ethan turned to Jasara, who stood bright against the shimmering backdrop, utterly euphoric. "I know our love isn't conventional," he said softly, feeling each word resonate with gravity, "but it's genuine. I feel a sense of home with you all. I want to walk this journey together." With tears in her eyes, Jasara whispered, "Together, we can explore every corner of the galaxy, hand in hand. Love transcends boundaries. It becomes our story. And today that story begins anew." In that moment of profound connection, Ethan felt hope blossom for their shared future, full of promise, excitement, and the beauty of unity, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. As the last firework burst into bloom against the celestial canvas, Ethan understood that this was just the beginning, an exhilarating chapter written amid the stars, embraced by an extraordinary family filled with passion and a world waiting to be explored. The hum of celebration filled the air as Ethan, Jasara, Zalara, and Lorraine gathered alongside the members of the Tribunal, representatives from various worlds celebrating their groundbreaking agreement. The festival, envisioned by the group as a radiant celebration of unity, unfolded beautifully. There was laughter, camaraderie, and the blossoming of unexpected friendships. Banners and decorations adorned every corner of the celebration space, where species from different planets mingled in delight, creating a vibrancy that resonated with joy. As the warmth of togetherness enveloped him, Ethan felt the energy flow through him, a stark contrast to where he'd begun days prior. Jasara held Ethan's hand, her warmth grounding him amid the swirling joy. "We did it," she said, eyes shimmering with beauty. "Our voices may have started as soft whispers, but they've transformed into something powerful and profound." Ethan smiled back, wonder swelling within him, feeling grateful for the paths that had crossed in unpredictable ways. And it's just the beginning. There's so much yet to explore and experience together. As the celebrations continued, they witnessed jubilant performances, dancers twisting gracefully under the bright banners that illuminated the night sky. Each dance and song filled the atmosphere with warmth and energy, dissipating the barriers they had once faced. The rich stories shared during this joyous occasion blossomed into newfound connections and deeper friendships. "Do you want to join me for another dance?" Jasara asked, her eyes filled with mischief and excitement. Without hesitation, Ethan accepted, feeling the magic of the night sew them together in ways words could not define. As they spun through the rhythm of the night, he reflected on the extraordinary transformation he had undergone alongside these remarkable women. Their journey together had become more than a mere directive. It evolved into a cherished exploration of identity and emotions. The night reached a crescendo as they gathered for a final showdown of fireworks, illuminating the sky in spectacular hues. In the midst of the festivities, as radiant colors burst forth against the enveloping darkness, Ethan turned to Jasara, the woman who had become part of his heart, filling it with light. "I know our love is not conventional," he softly confessed, "but it's genuine and real, just like the connections we've built here tonight. I feel a sense of home, and there's no one else I would rather embark on this journey with than you and the other daughters." A joyful smile bloomed on her face, and with tears forming in her eyes, Jasara whispered, "Together, we can explore every corner of the galaxy, hand in hand. Love transcends boundaries. It becomes our story, a saga of unity." As the celebrations washed over them, Ethan realized the limits once imposed by fear or obligation had crumbled. This was a new world, one filled with love, hope, and the promise of continued connection.